How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Did you see the gold medal run?
Well, I saw the video after the fact.
Oh,
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
yeah, it was
Pretty
amazing.
cool. Yeah.
Love watching it live.
Yeah, we're doing well in the pool. We're doing well on the lake. We're doing well on the field. Soccer, women's soccer, we're
Yeah.
doing we're doing great. Yeah, it's really great.
It,
Congratulations to all our athletes.
are there a lot of Burlington athletes repping Tokyo right now?
Not that I know of. So,
Let me find
but
out
we're
for you.
cheering for, yes, we're cheering for all of the athletes, our male and female competitors. And
Okay,
yeah, very excited.
awesome. Cool. How you doing? Good?
Doing great.
All
Yeah,
right. Cool.
doing great.
I was in the beautiful city of Burlington this weekend.
I caught part of that. Where were you?
I ate at a patio Pepperwood.
Oh yeah, right across from Spencer Smith Park.
Yeah,
Nice,
yeah. So I
nice
had,
spot.
had a
Yes,
burger there, and yeah, it was busy. Oh my goodness. I was there on a Monday though, so I mean, of course it's going to be busy. So
yes. Well,
uh,
it's interesting that it was busy. Well, it's holiday Monday, so I guess that's why.
yeah.
So I'm heading out
So,
to one of my spots tonight, downtown Burlington. So
are you going to name
be
it?
fun. Spencer's, yeah.
Oh,
It's
okay.
they have I think it's Buckashock or something cheap oysters on Wednesday night. So I'm dragging my husband down there to get my oyster fix.
Oh, nice. It
The
was
best
funny. It was
shucker in the land is at Spencer's. So yeah, we're
like
heading down.
uh, somebody did ask me, one of my family, they were like, "Oh, where would the mayor of Burlington hang out?" I'm like, probably any place that has oysters,
Pretty
right? So I'm
much.
like, I actually Googled it, and I'm like, I can.
These are
But
all the spots, yes. Jake's Oyster House, Grill and Oyster House is another favorite spot.
nice.
Yep, lots of
All
good
right,
ones.
let's get to the questions. What do you think of the back to school plans?
Well, this is a plan that was put together by medical professionals, and I think residents are just looking forward to their kids being back to school. I think that's the key is getting kids back to school. There's some modifications around cohorting. Obviously, there are masks that are required. We really need people to continue to get vaccinated, especially young kids. We're close. We're about 65% have had first and second dose. We need that to be uh, about 75%, and Halton region wide, we're at 71. So if I encourage parents who have kids in the system to read the plan really carefully. If you have any questions or concerns, please connect directly with your school trustee
Yeah.
and the Halton District School Board. Those folks have the best ability to influence changes to the plan and talk to those that are making those decisions. So I encourage you to do that.
What did you say the 12 to 17 vaccination rate is? Did you say it's 60% double
It's
dose?
about 65. It's about
65.
65. Yeah, I just checked. So you can go to halton.ca, check status of COVID cases, and then there's a tab for vaccines, and then you can segment by age group.
Okay.
So as you might expect, those in the highest age groups are they were the first out of the gate. They're the most vaccinated at this point. And so 12 to 17 is doing well. We're getting people vaccinated, but we need to do better. And the 25 to 35 age range, we need folks to get vaccines. And there's no excuse not to get a vaccine. We have walk-in clinics across Halton. There are over 100 pharmacies that have the vaccine. They have lots of Moderna available, and that could expire. So please go get your shot, 1 and 2. There's also primary care physicians. So there's really no reason to not get the shot. We've made it in Halton Region convenient and available. And it's really important that we do in order to prepare for what the fall might bring and make sure that we don't have any further restrictions. Nobody wants that.
Nice. You guys are in way better shape than PL region because I think the 12 to 17, I believe Mayor Crombie said they're at 50%. So you guys are 15% higher, which is amazing.
Yeah.
So step 3 expires this week. Have you heard anything about loosening restrictions, or are we going to stay kind of status quo for a while?
So the metric that I've heard recently from the Premier and the health tables is 75% double dosed, and that no health unit should be below that. So we're all hovering around 71, 72. That's the provincial average as well as most health units. So Halton is 71. And we're closing in on that 75, but I know that was the sort of the magic number that the Premier was looking for to, to lift step 3. But, I'm not on those rooms, so we'll see what they decide to do. Our own public health unit has said for herd immunity and for the maximum amount of health and public safety, they'd like to see 90% double dose. So we're ways off from that. So again, I can't underestimate the importance of getting a vaccine. If you are in any way concerned about vaccine, please talk to your family doctor. Don't get your information from your friend on Facebook. Please talk to medical experts, and they'll be able to guide you and answer any questions that you might have so that you can feel confident and comfortable going to get the vaccine.
Sure. So we talk about a lot of questions, and I repeat them like a broken record. But I got to ask this. If Toronto changes the Dundas name, okay, and Mississauga does the same thing, right, to have continuity, would Burlington and Oakville do it? And would that influence your decision?
What will mostly influence my decision, and I think our decision, because it's a regional road, so that would be the purview of Halton Regional Council, and all 4 municipalities have elected officials represented around that table. So that would be a collective decision of Burlington, Oakville, Halton Hills, and Milton. And the most influential for me is hearing directly from our residents. We have had no significant push to rename that street coming from Burlington or Halton residents. It's very different in Toronto. That was an issue that was studied for many, many months, had considerable community grassroots input, and it came from the community. So, and that's where it should come from. So we haven't seen that same push out here, and we'll see if that comes in coming weeks. We're certainly open to the dialogue, but we don't want this to be top-down decision just because folks around us are doing it. People can figure out roads, and with Waze and Google Earth and Trip and all that jazz.
MapQuest.
MapQuest. There you go. I have all of them. I don't even know what I use anymore. I just key in an address and then something tells me where to go. So, so with electronic devices, we can really figure this out. It is not the same sort of upheaval as it used to be. That being said, there will be significant expense for Toronto, obviously, for renaming because of all the street signs and the businesses and everything that needs to be changed. And for private property owners and business owners that front onto Dundas, I hope Toronto is planning to help compensate for some of that cost. Shouldn't be borne exclusively by those individuals, because it really is a community initiative. The whole community benefits, and so there should be some sharing in those costs, and that's what we would do here in Halton. I'd be certainly pushing for that, but we're a long way off from that. Is what I'm going to say.
Yeah, we did a poll on in Halton's Instagram, and 80% of people actually said they don't care to change it. So
and I'm not surprised. Yeah.
We had about 1,000 people on that, so.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, so,
good number.
But let's talk about what you're going to deal with in the fall as a council group. What issues are going to come up this fall?
Oh, it's all development. There are a huge amount of development applications. So the best place to look for folks is if you Google current development applications, City of Burlington, it will pull up a page that will list every single development in the city in various stages, from pre-application where they're just having a neighborhood meeting, they haven't even submitted something, but the meeting notices and invites are online, all the way to projects that have been approved and are in various stages of construction, including those that haven't been approved but are at the LPAT, and they are divided by ward. So you can see every single application, you can see the public notices, and we have a number of projects that are coming up. I just got a notice today, another one for a project on Plains Road. The notice will go out shortly. And really it's development across the city now. It used to be that the focus of development was downtown Burlington and a lot happening in Ward 1 along Plains Road, but now it's spread throughout the city. We have applications in Ward 6, in Ward 5, coming in Ward 4, some business and office applications. And so there are notices that are either just about to drop, so you'll be getting those soon, for invitations to either a statutory public meeting to give your feedback. So there's one on Kearns Road coming up in early September. So throughout September, we will be meeting almost every night for 2 weeks straight, right after things get going again after Labor Day, because there are so many applications that have been submitted, and we have deadlines at the city to actually to process those, or we risk an appeal for non-decision to the Ontario Lands Tribunal. So we're really trying to get those done and make sure that the public voice is heard.
Cool. I'm going to ask about a specific one because one of my reporters just messaged in. A virtual pre-application community meeting is being held soon to discuss the retail and commercial development that has been proposed for 5030 and 5045 of Tico Creek Common in Burlington. Do you know anything about that?
What's the name of the street?
It's Tico Creek Common.
Yes, I did see that off the top of my head. I can't remember exactly where that is, but so if you've got the notice there, that it's coming, and check that current development application page, because the notice will be available online, and it's for in that particular case, I think it's for a pre-application community meeting. To hear input before applications actually get submitted. So again, go to current development project, City of Burlington, and you can segment it by ward.
Sorry for putting you on the spot.
There's a lot out there, so I'd rather people go straight to the source than rely on my somewhat faulty memory.
I think she just wanted a quote for her article. Here's a fun one. Actually, you know what? Let me ask a question. I know Mississauga has like 53 buildings that they're developing. Is there a number that like Burlington has as far as high rises go?
Currently, the latest numbers that I saw, we have over 50 projects in various stages of development. So that could be they've applied but haven't gotten approval, all the way up to shovels in the ground. They're just waiting for a final building permit. And the vast majority of those are multi-residential, which could mean townhouses all the way to high rises in Burlington. So it is very, very busy in our planning department. And as I said, it is spread throughout the city of Burlington. Every ward, every major artery in the city, Fairview Plains is seeing a lot of development along that whole corridor, which is actually where we want to see some high density, especially clustered in and around the GO stations. Those are major transit station areas. It's a formal designation under provincial policy, and we want to see applications there.
Sounds like it's an exciting time to be a mayor in Burlington. That's for sure.
It's a very exciting time to be a mayor. So, and if my voicemail picks up, I'm going to mute myself for a bit and let you talk.
Okay.
But it sounds like it stopped. So that was probably telemarketing. It's a sure sign.
Here's a fun one, because one of my family members asked, is there a bike sharing or scooter sharing program in downtown Burlington?
There is not. There have been explorations, various types of explorations about setting one up, but we simply don't have the critical mass of population. because it's not just about picking up a bike. It is also about where you're going to drop it and leave it, and where, you know, you have to have enough people riding bikes and really enough people in the locations for pickup and drop off. So, you know, even Hamilton has struggled, and they are, you know, almost 3 times the size of us. So we've certainly looked at it, and there are lots of inexpensive ways to get a bike. So if people want to use bikes as a transportation method, then please connect with some of our local organizations. There are you know, used bikes that people can get, and ways to defray some of that cost. So that's an alternative for folks that do want to use cycling as transportation.
Have you ever tried those electric scooters?
I haven't.
You haven't?
No,
Oh.
I've not tried those. I'm somebody who likes to putter along. I am not a race car or anything. So I like to go fairly slow. Although my bike is a Miele racer bike that I've had for over 30 years, and it still works like a dream.
Nice.
That goes pretty fast. But yeah, I'm not. Bikes are about the most that I'd want to see for myself, not the scooters.
Okay.
They're, you know, and we struggle with classifying those. So bicycles, even without electric power, are considered a form of vehicle.
Okay.
And that's why, for the most part, they are allowed on roads. And if they're going to go quickly, they should be on roads. And so that's my message really for folks that have any kind of electric powered device that is capable of going at some speed, that you look to do that on our bike lanes on street to avoid potential conflicts or you know, interaction with pedestrians using the same paths.
There,
so if you can kind of go the way I do, is a fairly slow pace, then you're not going 30, 40, 50 kilometers an hour on one of those bike lanes. It really becomes a potential hazard. So we just ask people to use common sense, and those vehicles are allowed on roads. So
do you know what scooters I'm talking about though? Those kids scooters that are electronic?
There's a whole bunch of different types. So were you
Yeah.
talking about like the ones that look like a skateboard with a stick?
Exactly.
Those ones? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen those. Those go pretty fast.
Actually, they do. Yeah, there's some of them.
They can go pretty fast. So my message would be, wear a helmet always whenever you're in any kind of mobility device, please, because you don't want to wipe out and hurt your head.
Okay.
Especially for our kids. But yeah. I've seen those, and I haven't tried those either. They're like, yeah, I haven't. My bike is good, or my own 2 feet.
Okay. Yeah, I like my 2 feet. So the city of Burlington has proclaimed the month of August as Black, African, and Caribbean Canadian Appreciation Month. What does this mean for you and the city of Burlington?
Well, it's a way to honor and acknowledge and recognize people from those cultures in our community. And we know we have a sizable community. We have about 11% of Burlington residents are visible minority, which is about double what it was 20, 30 years ago. So, and the numbers continue to grow. So it's really important, especially as we continue to mature as a municipality and welcome more people to our city, that we acknowledge days that are, various people in our own community celebrate or mark or honor. And it's a way to learn about those cultures. So the proclamation is one way to kind of highlight it. There are other activities that are happening. Of course, August 1st was Emancipation Day. That's national now, which is great. And we certainly mark that occasion here in the city of Burlington. There are local community groups that have done some virtual planning. Our Halton Black History Awareness Society has done some great virtual online programming, so check out their website. And it's also Heritage Week here in the city of Burlington with a range of virtual and some in-person activities. So check that out on the City of Burlington webpage.
Yes. And last week we talked about illegal fireworks, and you told everybody not to do it over the long weekend. Did you get anybody doing it, and did anybody get fined?
So it was actually fairly quiet in my neck of the woods, which is a first because we used to be every long weekend. We were all up on my street in my neighborhood, listening to fireworks in the wee hours. And of course, our dog, like most, don't like the banging and the popping.
Yeah.
So it was quiet here, but I did see someone on Facebook reporting that they were awoken or kept up by fireworks. So as we've talked about before, it is really difficult to enforce in real time. And the reason being, it's hard to localize where it's coming from, whose property. You can hear it, but who is setting them off? You don't really know if somebody's doing it in their own backyard, which backyard it is. And by the time a call comes in, and someone might attend, even if they knew the location, sometimes it's already stopped. So it's really important for, nevertheless, people to call it in when they hear it, because if we start to see clusters in certain neighborhoods, then we can plan some proactive patrols at certain times. So right now it's mostly data collection that we can do based on where the calls come in and the complaints. So we need that information. And if we hear that, if people are literally seeing it in parks, so you're across the street from Spencer Smith, or you live near any one of our great parks in the city of Burlington, if you see it, then you probably, then it's easier for our folks to know where to go to find people and issue a fine. So that's especially important if you can actually see it and identify the location to let our police know, and they, depending on the time of day, they'll dispatch bylaw officers.
I'll end it with a fun question. Okay, and I've asked this to all the mayors. Your dream concert at Sound of Music Festival or Burlington Center, what would it be? And it could be anything. It doesn't have to be Burlington bands, right? It could be anything that you want. What would it be?
I love watching Walk Off the Earth.
Okay.
They are so fun. I've seen them in concert. I'd love to see them outside, but the instruments, the covers that they do, the musicality, the incredible stage show that they have it is just so much fun, family fun. So that's always a great time.
Nice.
I hope they come back, and they started there, as you know, but they've gotten huge. Like, they're a massive band now. So we'd be lucky to be able to get them back. But I know that they are playing one of the paid concerts coming up. So that's awesome.
Awesome. And who's opening up for them?
I'd have to check the schedule. They may be.
No, I'm asking you. Who would you want them?
Oh, who's opening?
Yeah, in your dream concert.
You know what, I don't know their names, but I actually had the occasion to drop by Walk Off the Earth studio very recently.
Nice.
And which was really cool. And they had some upcoming acts. That's another thing that they do, is they really promote local, new, emerging talent, and they were laying down some vocal tracks. So I got to kind of hang around and listen. It was spectacular, and I wish I could remember their names, but and they follow me on Instagram, so just hit me up on my Insta feed, folks out there. Remind me.
Next week.
Put it in the comment section so everyone knows. They were brilliant, and I love to see local talent. When I'm out at a performing arts event, or some other local event, and I hear some of the talent that we have in our community, the vocal talent, it is absolutely incredible. So I really like to see supporting our own homegrown talent, because there's a lot of it here in Burlington.
Awesome. Anything else you'd like to chat about?
Well, let me see. It's sunshiny. I just want to put in my final plug again for folks to go out and get vaccinated. Okay. It is so important, and we don't want to see further restrictions. We don't want to get people to get sick. And I was looking at some statistics from Halton Region yesterday that 95% of people who are in hospital from COVID were not vaccinated. 95%. So this is about keeping yourself healthy and keeping yourself out of hospital. as well as people around you, of course. So you have a 10 times more likely chance of getting really ill with if you're not vaccinated. And people can still get COVID with the vaccine. It's important to note that, but it's the symptoms and the severity of it that will that the vaccine controls and helps with. So again, 95% of people in hospital in Halton are there because they were not vaccinated. Please get the vaccine.
Nobody can say anything to that, so hopefully they do.
Let's hope common sense will prevail.
Yeah, for sure.
Common sense and a sense of shared public and civic duty and responsibility and care for each other.
100%. Mayor, thank you so much once again. I'll catch you next.
Nice to see you. Okay. Catch you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.